What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Talk Punch. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Brody, joined by Tudong Dylan
Hey.
and the lone star of these space balls.
Very nice, very nice.
While you're here, we'd love to interact with you, so make sure you comment down below. Just please be nice about it. And also, whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening in on the audio version of the podcast, wherever you get your podcast, make sure you go ahead and hit the thumbs up, hit the star ratings, hit all the things that you're supposed to hit that really helps us out. Or else,
or it.
Dylan is going to come to your house and sign you out of all of your streams.
Oh.
And then you're gonna have to go back in. You're gonna have to use your phone, have to scan the QR codes. It's gonna be a nightmare. Just do yourself a favor and subscribe. What were you gonna say, Dylan?
I was gonna say I'm also gonna start like putting different movies or TV shows on your list. It's gonna embarrass people. I'll put like Fast X or something like that.
He will. He will.
I'll do it. It's true. I've done it to these two. That's why they don't ever let me use their streaming services.
That's right.
True. That's
Algorithm
true.
is crap. Thanks, Dylan.
So after you do that, then you can easily come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us, see what we're talking about. Kind of like this week's topic, we are going with the positive.
Yeah.
We're doing our top 3 favorite things about the Star Wars prequels. Star Wars prequels, I don't know that you can universally say they are bad. There's some good.
No.
And actually, there's a whole like age group that is their Star Wars. You guys heard about these?
Mm-hmm.
These are the Star Wars that they grew up with. They think the old stuff's boring. They don't like the new stuff because it's too far away from their prequels. There's us who grew up with the originals, people who just love the prequels.
Yeah. Yeah.
We weren't wholly fans of them, but not all bad. Some good stuff. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. Some good stuff from the prequels. How was this list for you guys? You guys enjoy this? Was it easy?
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. People give a lot of guff to the prequels, and with good reasons. So just figured, hey, there's a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of everything. I've said nothing and everything, and too much.
All right.
I'm curious to see how much crossover we're gonna have, or if since it's a pretty general, just like broad things that we like about them. I'm thinking there might be some reoccurring themes here on our lists, but we'll see.
I agree. There's probably going to be some crossover or
Dylan's gonna have the controversial Jar Jar #1. We'll see.
No, that's beyond wild card right there.
I've got my spot of tea here. What kind of tea, bro?
Hey.
Thanks for asking, bro. It's a vanilla chai.
Very cool, bro.
It's very good. Charlie, you don't like vanilla chai?
No.
All right. Number 3, the order is going Charlie, me, Dylan.
All right.
Oh, you're gonna put me last?
Pressure's on, Tudong. Pressure is on the Tudong.
Well, I've got to say, I'm comfortable this time because my number 1's a strong pick. And you laugh.
It's the one reference to the 1920 movie.
Tall man.
All
right.
right.
In the gray flannel suit.
Okay, so number
Charlie.
3 it starts with me. All right. Star Wars does a lot of things well, and if you've watched any of the trilogies or Disney Plus television shows, I think one of the best things that Star Wars does is world build. We can quibble over plot points, we can quibble over acting, directing, we can certainly quibble over storylines, and how they are dropped and changed on whims. But you gotta love the characters, and I thought the prequels really kind of they kind of brought in some interesting and fun new characters, and my favorite were some of the villains. I love me some Darth Maul, so that's why I chose this interesting GIF. But I also, like General Grievous was awesome. You get your Jango Fett, Qui-Gon Jinn. You get Mace Windu. You get a whole bunch of like really nice and interesting new characters, and characters I do think is like just like the design, the look, the I think that's one thing that Star Wars does really really well. So interesting settings, but even more than that, interesting characters. So that's what my number 3 is.
Your
Oh.
GIF is almost exactly how I would die with my own lightsaber right there.
What does it taste like?
What does it taste like? You'd slice myself in half.
All
That's a great
right.
GIF. I love it.
Now, Charlie, so mine I think is kind of similar but kind of different. I just wrote more lore. We got
Big fan of the Metachlorians.
I didn't say all the lore, but there was just more of it. I think in the original trilogy we got a lot of like talk about the Force. We talk, the reference about like Emperor got rid of the Senate. Well, what does that mean? The Clone Wars. What does that mean? And I felt like a lot of this stuff kind of just got fleshed out, and especially things like the Clone Wars. I mean, you think about how much like the modern stuff is more referencing the stuff that happened in the prequels, the original trilogy. Like how much stuff is like, my goodness, we keep going back to Order 66, which I think is really interesting. We're getting references in Orion, we're getting talking Andor about the rebellion, all this stuff. And so it kind of gave us a lot of this background stuff that I just think is really
Cool.
You guys don't look
Very-
sold on this. Charlie, I saw an
I think
eye
it's
roll.
great.
You
There
don't
was no
like
eye
my
rolls.
answer.
Who gave
No,
you
I
an
love
eye
your
roll? I
answer.
didn't do
No eye
that.
rolls.
I like it. That's good.
Dylan was rolling his eyes. I saw him.
I was rolling dice. That was all I was rolling. It's just dice, not eyes. I think the lore is great. I actually still watch Star Wars videos on about the lore all the time on YouTube, even. I think the lore is great. The lore is good. It's good.
Okay,
I
all
was.
right.
It was
Lore
just
is good.
about.
No, let's move
Oh
on.
my
Dylan,
gosh. Oh my
Dudong,
goodness.
you go.
Now-
What's your fabulous answer?
When episode 1 was announced and it was coming out, there was a lot of hype. All right. I was looking forward to this like unbelievably. And at the time I was dating a woman, and she wasn't the nicest of people, and she actually often would tell me to date other people except for my one ex they had. She never wanted to meet my first ex, which I don't blame her, and I never wanted that to happen. And so I get tickets for Star Wars episode 1, and I'm like, this is going to be great. I bought the soundtrack. It's going to be cool. I'm going to watch this. We don't have to stay in line. And on the way there, apparently, almost like a sitcom, my first ex was there with her boyfriend, who I had no problem with, but I was just like, this is unbelievably awkward. And it got more awkward when they noticed we were there. And I just didn't want to talk to anybody. By the end of the conversation, I was like, I'm done. I just want to watch this. I don't want to hear anything. I'm going to see this. And then it turns on and we're going, and it's not great. And I'm like, what happened? What's going on here? Except for one part. One part blew me completely away out of the water. And that is the final lightsaber fight. 2 Jedis versus 1 Sith assassin. Oh, it's fantastic. This right here made the entire movie for me, because that is an epic lightsaber duel. You got to remember, we didn't have epic lightsaber duels. We had good lightsaber duels. They were fine. They were epic, but not in scope of like, it was an old man and it was a novice. But this is trained. We had a Jedi Master. He did have a Padawan, but he was ready to take the trials. They even said so. So he was a Jedi Knight versus a Sith assassin, a double-bladed Sith assassin. And whoa, was that cool. Loved this entire thing right here so much. Like I said, it made the movie for me. And that's one of the first things, like, besides everything else that happened. All of the stifled acting, ridiculous dialogue, and just the direction was
Keep it positive.
right. But let me tell you, this lightsaber fight was sublime. This was the best lightsaber. This was easily, if not the best, at least second best out of the entire things I've ever seen. This was unbelievable choreography, using the Force, all of this kinds of stuff. 2-on-1, it was excellent. I love this lightsaber fight to pieces, and I always go back and watch it several times, even in a month. I'll go back and watch it because it is excellent. I love this lightsaber fight, and in the prequels, this is one of the things that I love the most. One of my top 3. These other things, smidgen better.
Hey, bro, can we put links down below to Dylan's ex-girlfriend and ex-ex-girlfriend, just so like when he's telling that story, you can click on a link and it can take you so that you can kind of help visualize that better. That maybe their Facebook profile or something. That'd be great.
I don't think they have that.
So click the links below. All right, so on to my number 3.
This is a very good pick, by the way, Tudong.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
mean number 2?
On a similar theme to Dylan, my number 2 here is all the lightsaber duels.
Yeah.
And so there was some great ones, some fun ones, some Yoda. You got Yoda spinning around doing cartwheels with his lightsaber.
Yeah.
You got the General Grievous Obi-Wan lightsaber fight. You got the Obi-Wan Anakin lightsaber fight, and of course you've got the one that Dylan was discussing, the Mace Windu fight. I mean, it's a lot. The poor child getting slaughtered in this GIF reel, but that wasn't as much fun. But the other ones were good. We finally got a bunch of good lightsaber fighting, and there were some exciting ones, man. My kids and I have some videos of us acting out the Phantom Menace one, and then also the Skywalker Anakin fight, or not, excuse me, Skywalker, it's Obi-Wan Anakin fight.
Mm-hmm.
We watched those. We kind of wore them out when they were younger. We had bought like a 20-pack of lightsabers from Amazon because they kept breaking. It was a lot of fun to kind of recreate these. I did the backflips like Anakin does when he launches in the air. So that was on me, but it was good. I will say that maybe like three of the top 5 Star Wars lightsaber from the prequel. Maybe is that fair? If you're doing like a top 5 all Star Wars universe lightsaber duels, you put two or three from the prequels.
Oh yeah,
easily.
Yeah.
Not a controversial statement. Okay, good.
Oh,
look at us,
good.
So positive.
Well,
that's my number 2.
I'm just gonna kind of continue on then, and I'm just gonna talk about the lightsabers. Because it's the lightsabers, man. The lightsabers were this cool thing in the original, and then you kind of get to the lightsabers here, and you're like, oh my goodness. And you're watching them go, and to go through kind of the Duel of the Fates, go through the Obi-Wan Jango Fett fight, with Obi-Wan with his lightsaber in the rain. Then you get the Obi-Wan Anakin fight. They are so fun to watch. And this like just expanded my love for lightsaber. I got my lightsaber there. I just loved lightsabers, and all the prequels helped that love and infatuation with sabers.
Did you know that those sabers of light are the colors are basically kind of the cyber crystals? The Jedi or Sith will meditate with the cyber crystal, and it'll kind of determine their character. Kyber crystals. And that's how it determines its color. It'll determine it by your character. So like if you're more reserved and kind of duty bound, like let's say Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's got like a blue lightsaber. And if you're a bit more rebellious, you get like a green one, like Qui-Gon Jinn and Anakin. And obviously if you're a Sith, you're a terrible person, so it's red. You're gonna kill people.
Or you got to infuse it with your hate. You have to corrupt it.
Oh yeah.
When I built my lightsaber, I picked blue, so I feel like that fits.
That's good.
Red probably. I think red was for you, bro. We should
have. Oh, come now.
You should have, instead of saving all your hate and keeping it inside, you should have infused it into your lightsaber. So.
You feel much better, bro. Much better.
I will say, slightly off topic, man. Knights of the Old Republic, when you got to build your own lightsabers. Ooh, it was good stuff.
Nice.
Or even in the new Fallen Order game. That's one of my favorite parts, collecting
It's a
all
great game.
those pieces,
Great game. Not as good
building
as
the
Knights of the Old
lightsaber.
Republic. Fantastic game.
Good stuff. Love the lightsabers, and that's
They're
thanks
so
to
cool.
the prequels. All right,
Woohoo.
Tudong, you're two.
My number two happens to be Ewan McGregor's portrayal of Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think that he did the best acting in the prequels. I mean, I'm not saying it's all around perfect, but I mean, I loved his performance. I loved
So good.
everything about it. When I first heard he was playing young Obi-Wan Kenobi, I thought that is so cool, so cool. This brought him to the mainstream. Before he was doing a lot of indie stuff, a lot of European, Scottish stuff, even Chinese stuff. And I mean, he was just unbelievable. And so when I heard that he was going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was like, Ewan McGregor? I'm like, that's a great pick. What happened? Like, how did they get so smart? Like,
What happened?
Yeah, what happened? I was like, because have you seen some of the movies he was in before Star Wars? Shocking, very shocking.
Not train spotting.
There's a lot more where he exposes his full self in some of these things, whether it be physically, mentally, and emotionally. Either way,
Blue
if you
Velvet?
look at his Blue Velvet, was he in Blue Velvet? I thought that was he wasn't in Blue Velvet. That was a David Lynch movie, wasn't it?
Keep going.
Either way,
It was something.
The point
He was
is,
in Blue Juice. Blue Juice.
There we go.
Yeah, Blue Juice in 1995.
in
He played
Oh,
Lee
really?
Raymond.
Oh,
I can't say for sure that's what you're thinking of, but I can tell you that he was in that movie.
maybe.
But I loved his performance. I loved everything about what he did, and I was very happy when he came back for an older Obi-Wan series. And I hope they do more of those. And he's still one with the Force and all that. I loved his performance. He was easily the second best thing in the entire prequels, if not the best. These are by. I had to shift this several times because I love all three of these things.
You're thinking of
Velvet Goldmine.
I was gonna say it was actually in a Velvet movie, but
He was in Velvet Goldmine. He was in like some kind of something pillow. I can't remember what kind of a pillow, but it was maybe it was like a fluffy pillow.
Well, you guys can
Fluffy pillow.
Everyone go IMDb. Look at Hugh McGregor's. We can talk about movies that we haven't seen that he's been in all night. But,
True.
My number one was the easiest slam dunk. The second we decided to do this list, I knew exactly what my number one would be. Just the easiest choice I've had to make on a list in a long time, and that is just the score from the prequels is fantastic. Everything John Williams does is amazing. So you can enjoy this. Oh, sorry, Abrams. Right off the bat, when you watch Phantom Menace, it's just like whatever the scene is, regardless of how you feel about what's happening in the scene, there was always a safe retreat, which was like into the music. You could always just kind of like, well, at least the music's cool, like, oh, the pod racing's, yeah, the music's cool, it's whatever. I'm not gonna say anything negative about any part of the movies. They're all fantastic. So I don't know why you would need a break from any of it, but I will say just that there's some incredibly memorable tracks. Duel of the Fates is one of the most popular ones I do with my piano students to this day. Kids come in and request it all the time. So between that and Imperial March, probably the two most requested Star Wars pieces of music that I do with my students, and just really some really fun tracks. Even like just throughout like every chase scene, every battle scene, just all the underscoring. Across the everything it's just beautiful, and the way that he weaves in some of the old stuff with the new stuff. And John Williams is a master, and he's both a Jedi and a Sith when it comes to music. He can do it all. He has all the Force powers, and that's all I need to say about that. But do yourself a favor, just listen to music, even if you don't want to watch the movies. Fantastic.
And I really thought about putting the scores on, and I had a feeling you were going to put it on, so I.
Mm-hmm. So you hate John Williams? Okay.
No, I love John Williams. He was almost on my list, but I knew that you would put it, and I was trying to reduce the duplicates that we had. But yeah, these scores are so good. They're all so good.
Definitely.
All right, my number two, my number one. Sorry. As much as I was trying to reduce the amount of crossovers, still wound up in a crossover. Because my number one is Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor I was not super familiar with Ewan McGregor before this, and I watched him and I
Oh,
loved him. And then the second one came out, and I loved him more. And then the third one came out, and I just said, "Oh my goodness, I think I have a massive man crush on Ewan McGregor. He's so cool." Also helped that Moulin Rouge came out sometime around, but I still like Obi-Wan in the originals was he was cool, right? He was kind of this
yeah.
neat, crazy old man that you're like, okay, well, yeah, he's got the force, he knows stuff. Uh, but really, like Ewan McGregor, I thought really came in and fleshed him out. I thought he really like made him a character that I really enjoyed. He just brought more to it, like the way that he
Yeah.
fought, where he kind of has this signature fight now, his
Hmm.
pose. You know, the fact that he ended up coming back, but even in the not the original prequel, man, I just it's just so much. He's got a cool beard. Ah, gosh, I
That's
just,
good.
I just, just love.
They
It.
they did
You
him dirty in
really,
that Dooku fight though. They did him real
yeah.
dirty in that one.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll get you. Oh no!
Yeah, he went down pretty easy a couple times, but I
You
still love
really
him.
should. You should see his pre Star Wars movies, bro. If you got a man crush on him, because well,
Like I said, I
you're gonna
saw
be like,
Train Spotting, but I think I that was even after after I saw.
watch some of the other ones. You'll be very surprised, much more surprised than Train Spotting.
So what's your number one, Mr. D?
My number one actually is kind of a crossover with your number one, and my number one
Ew.
is Duel of the Fates. If there is anything that I'm going to do with exercise and I can listen to music, this is what I would put on. If I had to be in a duel, I'd be like, wait just a minute, and then I'd turn this on, and then I'd be like, oh yeah, let's put this on repeat.
Now
And
we can
now we
fight.
get to now we can fight. Now that we can duel. It's a duel. I actually somebody asked me once, "Oh, what's your favorite song?" And I was like, "Well, that's kind of a tough question. I mean, you mean like love song? You mean like exercise song?" And I was like, "You mean like dueling song?" And they were like, "Dueling song?" And I'm like, "Duel of the Fates." Like right there. Like if you're gonna have a duel, you gotta go with Duel of the Fates because it's a classic song. I couldn't believe when I first heard this. This is another thing when it came to episode one. I heard this and I was blown completely away. I was just like, this is unbelievable. And along with the lightsaber fight that was happening, blew my absolute mind. And I will always go back and listen to this because it is phenomenal.
Do you guys remember when they had Duel of the Fates? Like they put the music to scenes from and it was playing on like MTV.
Yeah,
It was like a
yeah.
music video, and it was showing up on all their like most requested charts.
It was
Like
so
Duel
cool.
of the Fates just exploded. It was crazy. I remember watching like the music video for
Yeah,
Duel of of the Fates on MTV. Like,
it was
Was that
cool.
the one with Paul Abdul and the animated cat? Was that
That's the one.
that's the
that's the one? Okay. All right. Link below to Paul
Well,
Abdul and the dancing cat to
well,
Duel
they
of the
did.
Fates.
They had like they showed John Williams conducting, and then they would go to scenes that didn't have Duel of Fates. Like you'd hear like Emperor Palpatine wipe them out, all of them. So it was like all these kinds of scenes, and it was. I know what you're talking about. I thought it was great.
We should set like a top 10 romantic comedy scene set to Duel of the Fates and just kind of
Yeah.
change the mood. Change the mood.
That'd be
All
pretty
right.
fun.
So I think we wound up with a fair amount of crossovers, but that just reinforces that these things were really good.
It's true.
So when you go and watch the prequel, you can be like, "Oh, I remember when Talk Talk Punch talked about that."
That's very true.
I think
So
yeah,
go
I think
watch them. Watch them.
there's a fondness that has developed for me over the years with the dual with like, every time you see a Star Wars movie trilogy end, you think, okay, did they kill Star Wars? Is it over? Like, is this the last Star Wars we're ever getting? And if so, like, what a bad taste. But now that we got more movies and all these shows, it's a much more pleasant revisit. You focus on all the good and you just
Yeah.
know everything works out. It's okay. You can't kill Star Wars. It's much like Emperor Palpatine. It'll just come back for no reason.
For no reason. Hey, those weren't prequels, so it's okay for us to say that.
I'm not
Out of
complaining.
nowhere.
I'm just spitting facts.
All right, you guys have anything else to add?
Dual Fates is great.
Charlie?
Well, we really appreciate you guys spending this time with us. If you're interested in more videos like this, all this dripping with positivity about your favorite movies and TV shows, make sure you click the videos below. And if you're just here to support, click that like and subscribe below that beautiful beard over there. Way better. Ewan McGregor once wrote in Vanity Fair, "If I had a beard like Brody, I would quit acting and live in the mountains and be the happiest man on earth." So that's a direct quote from Ewan McGregor. Big fan of Brody's beard. And we're a big fan of yours, and we'll see you next time.